Hey, what's up? Have you guys watched Inventing Anna on Netflix? Well, today's episode dives into Anna as a character, as a real person, and how we can learn about brand value from that story. Hope you guys enjoy it. Check it out. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Brands on Brands. I'm Brandon Birkmeyer, your personal branding coach. And today we are doing a personal branding profile on a character slash real person from the show on Netflix called Inventing Anna. If you guys haven't seen this show, Inventing Anna is an American drama streaming television miniseries created and produced by Shonda Rhimes, inspired by the true story of Anna Sorokin and an article in the New York titled How Anna Delvey Tricked New York's Party People. That was by Jessica Pressler. This series was released on Netflix in February of 2022, and Julia Garner starred as Anna Sorokin, the title character, and received mixed reviews from critics, but I loved it. I thought it was a great show, great series on Netflix. And let's talk about the premise for a sec, just so you guys get a sense of it, right? Under the assumed name Anna Delvey, Russian-born Anna Sorokin is able to con members of New York City's upper crust into believing she is a German heiress with access to a substantial fortune. She leverages this image into receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, goods, and services while working toward her goal of opening an exclusive art-themed club. Right? That's the premise. And I mean, how it plays out is basically someone who represents himself as a German heiress. Obviously, you can picture what they look like, right? Picture what they're wearing, picture how they talk, picture what they talk about, picture the people they run with, the places they spend their time, all in the New York City area, right? What would that have to look like to be convincing to people that you are a German heiress that has access to a fortune? So that's how this plays out, and that's the things I want to tap into today. Now, first off, there's some brilliance to this, right? That to make this work, you have to have some initial knowledge of what those things are in the luxury elite world that people are going to believe, right? So there's a little bit of study here. This isn't just someone showing up and saying something. They actually had to do some work. So what they portray in the show is, Anna has a great fashion sense. She's always wearing the best designer clothes. She knows about it. She recognizes good fashion from bad fashion. She could spot counterfeits. And she also has a tremendous knowledge of art. And she's always out there researching and displaying her knowledge of art, even if she's Googling it on her phone real quick, right? She's paying attention and she knows the nuances enough that to people that don't, she comes off as someone who really understands it and as someone who only would get that because she's in this luxury world. So there's a couple of these value signals, right? She has a certain amount of knowledge, which makes people think that she belongs in this more luxurious space. And she's obviously, from a packaging perspective, she's presented herself pretty well. She's wearing the right clothes, she's carrying the right purses, she's wearing different clothes every day, whatever the thing is, right? That would demonstrate that she is fashion forward. And the trick to all this, she actually does have money to spend, right? It's not her money. It's money stolen, borrowed from whatever, from a previous con or from her boyfriend that she's dating, who she's convinced that she's rich, but can't access her money because it's in some trust. So he pays for her and he's got money, and rolling with him gives her access by association to him to other people in that space. And together they, go out there and they mingle and mix and present this thing. But what I like to tap into is this idea of how did this happen, right? How did someone who basically had nothing take her experiences and convince all these people about who she was? Well, the answer to all that are these value signals, right? Things that are classic in the personal branding and branding space. Things like exclusivity. She taps into that. She gets into places where people can't get into based on relationships. Association. She's running with the elite And if you're in that pack, the people you meet after that associate you with that from then on. And the more people you meet, the more it snowballs, right? She has association. She has the packaging. She's presented herself well. She's wearing all the right things. She has what I call craftsmanship, right? She's done the work to understand the culture. She has the experience and the history and the knowledge to present herself in a certain way. She has the behavior, which, she has the tone. She talks, walks, and quacks like a duck, right? She acts like the other people in that society. She's come up with a way to present herself. She has a story, right? When people ask her where she came from and her background, it all adds up, right? And then she has what I would call critical acclaim. In other words, she has other people vouching for her along the way. She meets some influencers along the way, ingratiates herself to them, even pays for things for them, so that they have no choice but to believe that she is the real deal. And what happens? Well, eventually the money runs out, right? The fake money runs out, the stolen money runs out, the fake credit card bills, catch up, or the real credit card bills catch up. And you can't forever just live on credit and expect not to be able to pay your bills. And over time, it caught up to her, right? And that is, that's just being a con artist. But I think before that, had she had the money, she would have been, where she needed to be. So, I mean, she got as far as securing loans for people to set up this beautiful art space, these, multi-million-dollar loans for this huge space. And she could have got there, except she didn't have the collateral and credit to back it up, right? But aside from that, she had the influence. She found the right people, the architects, the cooks, the chefs, the property management companies, the bankers, to get this project moving. The only thing missing was the actual, money to back it up in case things failed. But people that might have actually had the money to back it up may not have had the influence and relationships to get as far as she did. So a lot to be learned, I think, just from how she set that up. And now I'm not obviously trying to say that what she did was correct. Obviously, want to make sure you aren't defrauding people and stealing money and deceiving financial institutions and everything like that, because that'll get you things like jail time. Obviously, what had happened was in 2017, she was arrested for defrauding or intentionally deceiving major financial institutions, banks, hotels, and acquaintances for a total of $275,000. In 2019, she was convicted in New York State Court of attempted grand larceny, larceny in the second degree, and theft of services, and was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison, and is currently held in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody pending deportation. So obviously there's consequences and repercussions to, acting illegally. So don't do that. But there's definitely something to be learned for, if you are a personal brand and you want to stand out, there are lessons you can tap into here. There are signals of value that you can leverage to make sure that you are being positioned in the appropriate way, to be thought of as the leader in your space, as delivering quality service. All of this matters, how you package yourself, the craftsmanship that goes into the work that you do, how exclusive it is, how hard it is to get a hold of, the scarcity, the price of something. All of those things matter when you are building your business and personal brand. So hopefully, I thought it was super interesting. I love that story. I hope you guys check that out on Netflix and appreciate that as well. If nothing else, it was a good show and a good laugh for a lesson in personal branding. And I hope you guys take that and do what you will with it. But if you are out there building your personal brand and you want to start creating content to do that, I think content is one of the unlocks for personal branding, sharing your perspective, sharing your ideas to build reputation in your space. One of the best ways to do that is through podcasting. And I do have a free podcast starter kit for you guys listening. If interested, go to brandsonbrands.com/starter kit to check that out. Otherwise, I appreciate you for listening, and I will catch you all next time. Brands on Brands.